Hi everyone and welcome back in a new video. Today I'm going to present to you SQL create table statement. As we all know, tables are useful for storing and managing data, and it is a combination of rows and columns. For this we have to use SQL Server create table statement, and here is the basic syntax. So as you can see here, I'm using an online uh, SQL compiler, but it doesn't matter. The syntax remain the same. Here is create table, table name. Here we mention the column name and the data type and the size. Okay, let me see here. As you can see, the table name, if you write the already existing name, it will throw an error. Column name, unique column in the table of null or not nulls. Okay, data type, a valid data type that the column will hold. For example, int, money, varchar, varchar, date, data time, etc. The size, data types like varchar, varchar, and char expect the size. So please mention that and mention a valid number. Null or not null. Here, as you can see here, you have to mention if it is null or not null. If you select the null option, then the column will accept both normal values and null values. Otherwise, it will throw an error saying column should not be empty. Okay. Now let me just do an example. So as you can see here in the compiler, the online compiler contains 3 tables already. So let's add, for example, product or products. Okay, let me did something like this. Okay, product key, for example, int, and we mention it as not null. Okay, product name, for example, and varchar, for example, 255, the size, or and it's null, for example. Product, for example, region, and varchar, for example, 200, and maybe it's null. Okay, and let's execute or let's run. And as you can see here, the output is SQL query successfully executed. However, the result set is empty. It means that the table products is empty, as you can see here. Okay, so our first column is product key of integer data type, and it will not allow null values. Okay, So as you can see here, the product name and the product regions are with the same type, which is nvarchar, and with the different size. The first one is 255 and the second one is 200. Okay, let's now create a new table with identity column. So we are going to create a table with an identity column. For this, we are going to define an identity column. For example, let's rename this products one, and the product key is the identity one, the identity column. So we will add this statement as you can see here. So product key int identity one not null. Okay, and as you can see here, we have a new table with product one and with an identity column. Okay, now let's add the primary key. So let's create a new table products 2, and let's add the primary key, for example ID or product ID. Okay, product ID, and it's, for example, int. Okay, and it's not null, and we mentioned that it's a primary key. Okay, as you can see here, let's run the SQL query, and as you can see here, we have the product 2. So as you can see here, product ID is the primary key, the primary key. The product key is identity 11 not null. Product name is with nvarchar type, and product region with nvarchar type also. Okay, now let's create uh, a table with identity, primary key, unique, and check constraint. Okay, and for that I'm going to create a new different table. So as you can see here, customers one. So as you can see here, the first one is ID. Okay, with the type int, and let's add identity 1 not null. Okay, and let's change it to customer key, for example, and let's add it as the primary key. Okay, so it's int not null, and we mention it as a primary key. Here let's make some changes. For example, here first name, as you can see, let's keep this not null, but let's change it to not null. And last name, for example, and varchar, and let's put it as not null. Okay, now let's add the colon age. So it's int and could be null. No problem with that. Okay, so for example, profession, and it's n varchar, let's say 150, and not null, and default is, for example, doctor. Okay. Okay, and let's add constraint. Constraint. Okay. So with the name of the constraint, for example, let's put it in this way. Okay. Each is superior or equal to 30, for example. Okay. SQL default constraint is used to assign default values to the table columns. In general, every column accepts either nulls or values. If the user forgets to enter the value, the SQL server will assign a null value to the column. In those cases, we can use the SQL Server default constraint to replace those nulls with the standard value. So as you can see here, if we forget to enter a value for the profession, it's going to enter by default a doctor. Let's now talk about check constraint. Okay, so SQL Server check constraint will limit the data inserted into the table columns. So for example, if we want to restrict the number of digits in a phone number or limit the customer's age here, for example, to superior or equal to 30, then we can assign check constraint to that column. Thank you a lot for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed. Please don't forget to leave your feedback and what you want to see in next videos. Bye for now and see you in next videos.